That I'm trying to get here is looking at fishing rods. So just because this is housed with all the rest of my fire stuff, this has nothing to do with fire. This will have everything to do with fishing rods. So this is one of the Jordan Creek type rods. All of them a little different, of course, because they're each and every one individual and custom. But what I was trying to capture here is just to try and demonstrate action on the two that I have, and obviously there's ways to work around that to get whatever action we want. But I built a lot on these two rod lengths, so I figured I would try to demonstrate that. So this is the heavier version of my Jordan Creek rod. It is an MHX Spin Jig 782. It is a two-piece, 6.5 foot. The ratings on this, it goes 6 to 12 pound line. I think I have probably 15 pound braid on it at the moment, because you can go a little heavier than what that rating is as far as weight goes. It's more about castability. Conversation for another point. And then it's showing 1/8 to 3/8 ounce lures, and I regularly throw 3/8 with this, or maybe even closer to half, when that's the applicable function. But I think the piece here, it's fast. It's a fast action rod. It's graphite. It wiggles. The wiggle comes out really fast. It comes back to, hopefully that light is good. Right. It comes, while it bends, it comes back out to not bending quite quickly. So I got it all. Now, if I put it under load, then again, I'll tighten the knot now. I get for playing around with braided fishing line. I put it under load, right, and it really comes out fast. So under load, it's really coming out fast. And then next to demonstrator purpose, there's this is probably a 3.5, 4 ounce weight. I put that on there, just put it under some fairly minimal load. Keep this a little bit, just to hopefully capture that against the darker backdrop. But there we are under that kind of load. And the other thing I wanted to do is pretend I'm fighting fish. Okay. So in this case, I'm putting it under a load as if I'm fighting fish, and just trying to see where that bend goes to. So you're like halfway down. You got about halfway. Okay. How much pressure am I putting? Whatever. It's hard to say, but that flex comes down to maybe almost a stripping guide, but not quite. About right in the ferrule there. That is my heavier version. So that's my heavier version, and I use that for smallmouth, largemouth type fishing, throwing bigger baits, topwater, stuff like that. It's fast, it's fun, and yeah, that's what that one looks like. Okay, conversely, now I'm looking at my my lighter version of Jordan Creek rod. They're very similar. These two were my originals. I actually do a better job of those handles now, but the first ones I ever built. So this one is also an MHX blank. It's also a 782. It's just the spin model, 6.5 foot. The ratings on it are 4 to 8 pound and 1/16 to 5/16 ounce lures. Yeah, I definitely exceed that occasionally. But that's more or less the realm that I generally put this rod into. It's also very fast. It's much lighter powered, and that's reflected by the specs there to some degree. So this is probably my favorite smallmouth rod for smaller fish. I mean, usually I'm in the half pound to pound range, and that's plenty fun. Also, it's a great little trout rod. So let's do the same thing and also a fast rod, right? The wiggle comes out pretty quickly, but not as quickly, not as hard. It's not as stiff. Okay, and I'll do the same thing and wiggle it with a little bit of pressure on it. Okay, I'm getting, similar, but it bends faster. And then we'll do the same thing with just putting it under load. This was it's a 3 ounce. So that's under a 3 ounce load. I think that's here. Maybe up in the sky will be easier to tell. And then I think what is probably more useful to most people is what's it look like under a fish load. Okay, so under load as if I'm fighting a fish. I'm looking at, it's pulling free. I know, just tighten my drag. Okay, so I get me bend almost back down to the handle on this guy. Plenty flex. It's not as stiff, it's not as heavy powered of a rod. It's not intended for quite the significant load the other one is, so this one's just definitely lighter. Super fun, like this one a lot. And so yeah, that's my 2 versions of Jordan Creek rods, just as a baseline for conversation, so that people can kind of get an idea of what those rods look like in action, kind of, even though we're really not in action. As far as castability, the lighter one certainly throws small stuff beautifully, where the heavier one doesn't throw as small of stuff as nicely, but will throw bigger stuff. Pretty typical of a fishing rod, but just trying to capture performance to some degree.